Welcome back. This is Sandy with Sandy's Organized Chaos, and today I'm going to be showing you this neat trick that I've seen all over the place, and I had to give it a try first before I wanted to show you guys, but we're just going to be doing these drips using nothing more than puffy paints. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's wake up, prep those tumblers, and slay all day. Let's do this. Now, because I just want this to be a reference for you guys to come back through and rewatch if you have to. I already have a tumbler and coaster already pre-made up here. I have it on a nice glitter tumbler with nice slick epoxy base ready to go. Now, the puffy paints that I'm showing you here, these are Tulip brand, and I just purchased them off Amazon. I'll make sure to have everything in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. But you guys can pretty much purchase this stuff from anywhere. You can go to Michael's, you can go to Walmart. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. Any type of dimensional fabric paint is what you want to use. I really enjoyed this stuff, so that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. And I do believe some of the kits that I've seen have quite an array of colors. They come with neon colors all the way to like browns and stuff, because I know everybody kind of likes to use chocolate colors. There was a white in this kit too for like a frosting. So it does come in all kinds of colors for you guys. Now with my drips here, I wanted to go with a fun base, so that's why I kind of chose something with these little neon dots all over it, just to kind of add to the flair of the drips that we're about to add. The first thing that I like to do, because I've already used these ones before, I like to come through and I like to shake them up really well, and I like to pull up any gunk that might be stuck to the tip that might be dried on there. So I go ahead and pull that stuff off and make sure that I tap all my paints down to the tip, so that way no little bubbles happen once we go to start applying. I chose 3 colors to use today. I'm just using this pink. I'm also going to be using a purple and a teal color. So all I'm going to pretty much do is just eyeball where I want my colors to go. I know there's 3 colors, so I'm going to try to make each segment about the same size. And all I'm going to do is come through and make a bead of that puffy paint right around the rim. That's all I'm going to do. If you want a little bit more of a drip in a certain area, add a little bit more. But other than that, that's all you want to do. And then you want to get your other color and do the same exact thing, where you kind of tap everything down to the base of the applicator there, so that way no little bubbles squirt out when you go to apply it. And do the same exact thing. You just want to do another little segment of your color. Just butt it up right against the other color and bring it around to the other side. And I am trying to be very careful not to get it up inside of my tumbler there, but if it happens, I'll show you guys. It's so easy to wipe away while it's still wet and kind of clean it up before it dries. Now that my purple segment is all done, I'm going to do the same exact thing with my teal. Again, you guys can do as many colors as you'd like. You can do 1 color if you'd like. The sky is the limit when it comes to this. However you guys think it should be, go ahead and do it that way, because there is no right or wrong when it comes to making art. Now, again, I am working on an epoxied surface tumbler. So you want to do your glitter, and then you want to make sure that you have a nice smooth surface to be able to do this. So that way if you mess up, you can easily wipe it away. Now I kept this in real time because I wanted to show you guys just how easy this is. My 3 colors are already applied, and now is time to do the fun part. Now is time to make those drips. I'm just going to take my towel and I'm going to slide it under my tumbler because I don't want to pound my table too hard. So just up and down motions, because if you go side to side, it'll make those drips go side to side. You just want to try to keep it as straight up and down as possible, and just tap your tumbler and just keep going until you get the drips that you would like. And don't worry about those splotches. Again, we'll come through and wipe those up and clean it up really good. Now that I pretty much have my drips the way I'd like, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up just a little bit for you guys here. Now, the great thing about these puffy paints is that's it. They're not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay exactly where you leave them. They're not going to budge at all, which is awesome. Now, as you guys can see how easy it was just to wipe right up because it's still wet. You just come through with a rag. Now remember, this stuff is permanent, so whatever you use, it's going to stain that fabric. So just use something that you don't really care about. I just have my little shop rag here, or you can use a wet wipe. I mean, you know, whatever you guys have on hand, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to come through and clean up any little areas that I just want to just tidy up just a little bit more. I'm also going to come through and wipe around the rim as well. Now, I absolutely love epoxy drips because I like to do my pearl drips and add my sprinkles and stuff. Now, that's the only thing with this puffy paint is it's a very thin layer of the paint. Your sprinkles will hold on to that paint if you add it right now while it's still wet, but you just have to be very gentle with it when you go to apply your epoxy coating once it is dry. And another thing I've noticed, because this is like the fifth one I've done in this type of tumbler, another thing I've noticed is there are little bubbles that kind of form. So I just take a little silicone dabber here and I just poke all the little bubbles and kind of fill in the paint just to make sure there's no little bubbles in there. Now, after this is dry, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I do the drips on the bottom as well. But let's go ahead and move on to our coaster to match. Again, we are going to do exactly like how we did the tumbler. You're going to make your segments if you're doing more than one color. You're just going to fill those in right along the top, just making a nice little bead, making sure you shake your paints down so that way no little blotches kind of form when you go to squirt it out, which it did happen to me, but I just came through and filled in a little bit more right here. You'll see a little bubble kind of burst out, but not a big deal. Just kind of fill it in. You're good to go. Then we are going to, okay, I needed to fill that in. Okay, after that, you're gonna do the same exact thing. You're gonna hold it as straight as possible and making sure up and down motions to form those drips. And then you're gonna come through, you're gonna pop your little bubbles and you're gonna let that dry. And then once that is dry, I will show you guys how I did the drips on the opposite side as well. Now, I kind of wanted to sneak this little tip in as well. As it was sitting there, I just felt like it needed a bit more. It was looking a bit thin because, like I said, this is a very thin coating of the paint. And I just felt like I wanted my drips to go further down, almost kind of like how my coaster was. So it is okay while it's still wet or even after it dries. It doesn't matter. I came back through, I did another coat of my beading around the top, same exact way as we did the first time, just make another little bead around the top, do the up and down motions where we shake it nice and good and get those drips going. And there you go. You kind of filled in any little areas that you might not have liked or just didn't look right to you the first time. It's not a big deal. That's how easy you fix that. And then of course, you come back through, pop your bubbles and clean up your rim and let that dry. Now, everybody's environments are different. I'm a bit warmer here, so it doesn't take as long to dry. I let mine sit for about an hour or two, and it was good to go. I was ready to add that other set of drips along the bottom here. So again, just like the top. Now, I couldn't figure out if I wanted to fill in the bottom or not, but I kind of liked how it was open, so I left it open. But you guys could kind of fill yours in, like make matching segments to go with the colors, but this is how I wanted to do it, so that's what we're going with. But I just wanted to make sure that each one of those colors lined up with the colors that we did on top, so I'm just going to do all the way around, making sure that I stop about where the colors are on top so that way it matches up once we go to tap it down. So for those of you that have tried the puffy paint drips, because like I said, this has been around for a little bit, which way do you guys like better? Do you like the epoxy drips or do you like the puffy paint drips? I would have to say I like the ease of this and how I can add as many colors as I'd like to a tumbler to kind of achieve this look. So I really do like this when I'm in a pinch and just really want to make something cute and colorful. But I still do love those epoxy drips for some more three-dimensional look. Whichever way you guys choose, I know you got this. All right, my drips are fully done here. I just tapped it down until I got it about the length that I would like my drips. Again, those drips are going to stay exactly where you leave them. So wherever you leave it is where it's going to be once it's dry. Now I'm going to come through and just take my finger and kind of clean up around the rim to make sure I have a nice line around the base there. And of course, we got to finish up our coaster as well. So I'm going to do the same exact thing, add my beads of color to match the opposite side, make sure I tap it down really good in a straight up and down motion to make sure that those lines are as even as possible and don't go off to the side on me. After I'm done doing this, I'm going to let those dry. I let mine dry overnight just to make sure that they were dry because you guys know if you've ever worked with puffy paint, it kind of has like a natural tacky feeling to it. So it was hard to tell when it was dry, but I just let mine sit overnight. I'm going to add a coat of epoxy over my coaster here and on my tumbler as well. I also added some glitter to my epoxy to give it a little extra shine, and they are good to go. Whether you take this design and duplicate it as is, or you take it and let it inspire you to create something that is completely your own, I hope that you guys had fun watching this little hack today with Puffy paints. Again, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.